What is good, YouTube? Hey, welcome to Talks with AJ. If this is your first time, this is your host AJ. All right, so for today's video, as y'all seen in the title, I got this quote from Theodore Roosevelt: "Comparison is a thief of joy." All right, so welcome. Today is a beautiful day, and I just want to talk about this subject that's kind of been on my mind for a little bit. I kind of been putting it to the side, but today I had the time. I fought my procrastination and I'm doing it. So here I am. All right. So to start it off, why do we like to compare ourselves to others? You know what I'm saying? So according to this article that I found online, Psychology Today, and the article is called Social Comparison Theory. Well, never mind. That's the social comparison is the theory. All right. But I'll have the link to the article down in the description if you want to go read it for yourself. But here's the quote that I found, and I'm going to talk about this. People constantly evaluate themselves and others in domains like attractiveness, wealth, intelligence, and success. According to some studies, as much as 10% of our thoughts involve comparison of some kind. Social comparison theory is the idea that individuals determine their own social and personal worth based on how they stack up against others. Excuse me. Alright, so basically, pretty much, it's just a way for people to just evaluate themselves and see how they're doing compared to the other people in the society and what's going on. Just see if they're on top of the norm, you know? And there's two different type of comparison that this other article was talking about. It's called 5 reasons why you compare yourself to others and how to stop. All right, so in this article, which I also have the link down in the description, there's 2: upward comparison, which I'm pretty sure all of us have used before, comparing yourself with someone who you believe is better than you in some way. And the second one is downward comparison, which I'm pretty sure a lot of us have used. And if you haven't used, hey, I'm trying to be like you. Comparing yourself to someone who is doing worse off than you are. And obviously, I'm not gonna lie, the downward comparison, I'm not really a big fan of it because I feel like there's not much room to grow off of it. You know, I feel like when you sit there and compare yourself to somebody that's doing worse off than you, first and foremost, you're not trying to better yourself. You're just trying to make yourself feel better and boost your ego. And secondly, it's just a way I feel like, to just make you feel and stay at where you at, because you're not really offering yourself room to grow because you're already thinking that you're doing good. But the only reason why you're thinking you're doing good is because you're sitting there compared to somebody that you think you're doing worse off, which is totally biased, you know? And obviously, it can also be the same thing with upward comparison, you know? And obviously, that's why I'm not really a big fan of the downward comparison. But with the upward comparison, which also have its own flaws, but there's much more room to grow if you apply it the right way, if you compare yourself to the right people and compare yourself to your previous self. You know what I'm saying? If let's say you were working out for almost 2 months and you track down how many reps you were hitting the first 2 months, the first month you were working out to today, to see your progress, that is a good way to compare. You know what I'm saying? It is a good way to compare. But the downward comparison, according to this article, it says it could make you arrogant and egotistical. You know, it's just there to just boost your ego, and you're really not going anywhere to just sit there and compare yourself. But the main reason why I wanted to talk about this and just drop a little bit of knowledge is just because, like, I've noticed how much comparing others and people is just becoming such. I feel like, to me, obviously it can be different for other people, but I felt like it was just becoming a norm to just compare yourself to others. And especially with like all this social media and trends, you know, seeing in the NBA, we see how every time there's a breakout year for a player, they're trying to compare it to a previous player. You know what I'm saying? We see it with like Anthony Edwards. You know, is he gonna be the next MJ, the next Kobe? Okay, maybe not the next Kobe. I've seen a lot of people saying it's gonna be the next MJ, and obviously it is not a bad thing to say. But at the end of the day, I feel like when you compare yourself like that to other people, you kind of are limiting the ceiling of their potential they have, you know what I'm saying? And obviously Michael Jordan is a great player. He had a great career in the NBA, but just because he had a great career, that doesn't mean Anthony Edwards can surpass him. You know, he has a potential to surpass him. And, you know, by sitting there just comparing to Michael Jordan, y'all saying Michael Jordan is it. I feel like, okay, I could totally be wrong, but I feel like when people say Michael Jordan, you know what I'm saying? I feel like people just think it's it. Six championships. How many 6 championships, how many MVPs, whatever MVPs he got, 6 finals MVPs, 5, they feel like, all right, that's it, that's the limit. But in reality, when you do that, you just narrowing down the ceiling or the room that you have to grow, And also why I also really want to talk about it is just because, like, on social media, first and foremost, I fell for that trap, and it's okay, whatever you see on social media is people getting on social media and posting when they are at their best. It's rare to see somebody on social media, let's say they're in a fitness journey, they'll post when they were struggling or when they come up, they only post when they are at the best, when they feel the best looking, It's kind of hard to find people, to post the dark times. And obviously, I'm not trying to neglect the work that they've put in. Obviously, some of these dudes have put years into the work they've put in. Let's say if you're talking about gym influencers. And obviously, there's some out there that is not as legit or honest. And that is the thing with social media. They only show you what they want you to see and what will make him receive likes and views. And especially if you sit there and compare yourself, it can kind of create this, like, just negative thoughts for yourself, feeling like you're down or you're late on what you're doing. But in reality, it's not the case, And I feel like for the longest time, I kind of fell for that trap. I'm like, I'll see somebody on the internet, like 6 months transformation. I'm like, yo, I don't, why am I not like, But it easily, bro could have lied. It could have took him 2 years to get to where he's at. And that's why you kind of just don't have to, like, focus on what other people are doing, but just focus on what you got to do. Focus on getting to the gym, eating good, getting your cardio in, getting your lift in, focus on that. And it's you versus you, as long as you see progress, it's a W in my eyes, 1% better every day, and I feel like that's where social media is, and like a lot of times, even like with relationship, like those relationship channels or accounts, dude, they will only show y'all when they're doing good. We don't see what's going on behind the scenes. And obviously, some of them may go on there and drop y'all some banger advice. And obviously, there's times where that happens. But you have to realize that what works for them might not work for you. And I feel like that's where we're going. Like, when we compare ourselves, you're like, yeah, I seen on Instagram, so-and-so did that and it worked for them, so it should work for us. But in reality, it don't work like that, because all of us were all different. We all went through our own struggles. We all were brought up in this world differently. Times are different. Obviously, when it comes to your relationship, you have to figure out what works for you guys and not what somebody's telling you on the internet. And I feel like that's where it ruins your relationship with, like, yourself and others, because you're just sitting there thinking that, he did that, it should work the same way for me. But in reality, when you do that, like I said earlier, it just narrows down the opportunity that you have to even do better than you're doing. And like I said, on social media, they can sit there and look like, yeah, I have the best relationship in the world. But in reality, as soon as them cameras shuts, they're arguing. Like, that's how it is with social media. They just trying to look good for the camera, but in reality, they're not happy. And it's sad to see that's what the world is becoming. Obviously, not everybody on social media is like that. There are good people out there. They're not good people, but just be careful on what you see on the internet. And I kind of just want to talk about that, because, like, it's just like, I remember growing up, my dream was to become a soccer player. I really wanted to become a soccer player. Like, if people that knew me, like, I used to play soccer every time. Like, I would go practice. Literally, that's all I did. I would breathe soccer. And I remember my dream was to become a professional soccer player, but I really wanted to play for the national team of Congo. My dream was to represent my country, go to the World Cup, even win the World Cup. I was dreaming big, and obviously that is not a bad dream. It's a valid dream to have. Dream big. You never should want to dream small, but I kind of fell short because obviously circumstance in life, I wasn't really provided with a lot of opportunities to pursue that. But I remember I always had this doubt in myself that I couldn't do it, because I was just comparing myself to other players that made it professionally and changed their nationalities, and I was just sitting there, I'm like, dang, like, if this player was so good and he was able to play for these big clubs, why should I even think I have a chance to do it? and it would just kind of kill my hope and my self-esteem in myself. But in reality, that's where I mean by like we need to break. When you sit there and just compare to what other people are doing, that just because that person did it and he was successful, that doesn't mean that's the end of success. You might be able to do even better. And by what I mean is, like, let's say I was in a position today where I played soccer, and I played for like a big club in Europe. Let's say I played for Barcelona, for my Barca fans, we up. But I played for Barcelona, and I was in a position where I have a dual citizenship. I can play for either Spain or Congo, but I'm like, you know what? Let me go back to Congo. That would influence the generation after me to do the same. And obviously, if I go and I play and I don't win the World Cup, that doesn't mean that I didn't influence the next generation to do so. And maybe I may be able to see it. Other people do it. I feel like that's where also we forget that, like, whenever we want to do something, we think that we're gonna see the results right away. And by what I mean is, like, literally my mom, I remember when she came for my brother's graduation, I took her on like my college campus, and she was like, dang, my dream is always to come to the US, but now I'm able to leave that dream to you guys. I have 2 kids that go to university in the United States, and that really made me like, damn, like, I'm pursuing my mom's dream. And obviously that's where obviously this is a topic for another day, but a lot of things we gonna do, we might not even see the end results of it. We might just be the I guess like what do I call it? Like just the beginning factor of it. We might just the little rock that drops into the volcano that starts the eruption. We might just be that. And obviously it's not a bad thing to be that. It's a good thing. And that's just a powerful way to impact. And I feel like whenever you sit there and just do things your way, you'll be able to impact people the positive way, to do things their own way. And obviously there's not one set path to success. And I used to really think that. I remember as a kid, like, the reason why I'm talking about this is because, like, this is how much comparison affected me growing up. As a kid, I remember I used to look up like famous soccer players that was born in March. And at the time, okay, maybe I wasn't good at research, but there wasn't that many soccer players that was born in March. So I'm like, yo, I'm not gonna, like, I'm not gonna make it as a soccer player. But in reality, I could be that first soccer player that's born in March to influence other people to think, like, oh yeah, like, he's born in March, I can do it. And I feel like that's where we gotta stop just comparing ourselves, because it's just narrowed down our ceiling that we're supposed to break. And there's an infinity things that we are able to do if we just focus on ourselves. It's you versus you. Try to get better every day to reach your goal. And obviously there is right ways to compare yourself to people to make yourself get better. You don't want to sit there and be on that downward comparison where you're just trying to make yourself feel better or where you at today, because obviously you can always get better than what you were yesterday. There's always room for improvement, and obviously you're not gonna be perfect, but you're gonna get better, and that's what matters. And to kind of sum up this video, the reason why I think comparison is a thief of joy is just because, like, when you sit there and compare yourself to others, you're just limiting the blessings that you have and opportunities that you have. You just have to sit down and look at what you got in front of you and realize that, man, you are blessed. You have a lot of things right in front of you, and you just got to open your eyes and just appreciate what you got in front of you. And that is all it is, literally. And just make the most out of it, because at the end of the day, we're all gonna die. And this need to chase the value from society, it's not gonna matter. And obviously I'm not telling you to go do something crazy, but, like, dude, if you want to start a business, or a business or whatever, that you think is successful, do it. Don't be scared of what people gonna think, because at the end of the day, like, it's you. And last and foremost, like, compare yourself to where you at. Like, let's say we were to look at the Michael Jordan versus Anthony Edwards. Michael Jordan played 15 seasons in the NBA, if I'm correct, and Anthony Edwards played 5 seasons. You wouldn't want to compare their stats at Michael Jordan on his 15th season and Anthony Edwards on his 5th season, because Michael Jordan, obviously at that time, he was getting older, but you wouldn't want to compare that, because he's gonna have better stats because he had played more basketball and all that. But you want to compare yourself to Michael Jordan on his 5th season, going into his 5th season, as Anthony Edwards is going into his 5th season, you know, to see better appropriate stats, to see where you would want to be at. And obviously it is okay if you don't get there right off the bat, but it is just an appropriate way to see where you would want to be at. And that's how you set a challenge and say, all right, I want to get there, you know. And it is okay if you don't get there right off the way, but as long as you made a lot of progress and you're better than where you were yesterday, it's a W in my eyes. But yeah, that was all I got for today. This was your host again, Talks with AJ. If you made it this far, just like, comment, and subscribe. Just give me your thoughts on what you think on this video. Obviously, I could be totally wrong in what I'm saying, but this is just my thoughts on the situation, and I just really like to hear somebody else's thought on this topic. But yeah, I'm gonna have a few other videos. If you're interested, go check them out. But yeah, this is all I got for y'all. Take it easy.